Next, let's look at what is called tracking signal. Tracking signal is used to monitor forecast and see whether it is continuing to produce good, accurate forecasts for us. So once you do an analysis, you figured out what model to use and what parameters to use, and then you set it up in an automated fashion, and the new data comes in and new forecast gets calculated automatically using the formulas that you have set up. So it's pretty much automatic at this point, but there must be some way of figuring out or some way of knowing if something goes wrong, so there can be an intervention and correction. So tracking signal is one of those automatic ways of telling whether the forecast is continuing to produce accurate forecasts. So it is a ratio of cumulative forecast error divided by the running MAD, the MAD that gets updated every time period. So good tracking signal will be close to 0. Okay, if there is positive, continuing to be positive or continuing to be negative means there is a bias in forecasting. The forecast, you're continuing to over forecast or continuing to under forecast. And also if it goes beyond a certain limit, then that would be cause for concern and intervention. So here is the formula for computing the tracking signal, and you do this every time period. So the cumulative error and the MAD will change from one period to the next to the next to the next, and you plot the tracking signal over time, and you set a minimum and a maximum limit. As long as the tracking signal falls within these limits, it is acceptable, but if it goes outside the limits, then that would mean there is cause for intervention. Okay, the forecast is not accurate enough for us. Now, what should be the lower and the upper limit? Well, it depends on how accurate you want the forecast to be. If you set these limits too small, then you keep intervening all the time. But if you set the limits too far apart, then even when there is need for intervention, you may not intervene. So usually the value somewhere between plus or minus 2 to plus or minus 3 would be acceptable. And here is an example of actual demand forecast and how the tracking signal is computed. Yeah, we will work out a different example in the next video. Okay, tracking signal. So here we have the demand and the forecast. So we have to do this one period at a time. So let me see. So at the beginning, you will have only the forecast for the very first week. Right? Okay, let's assume using some method we have come up with a forecast of 78. At the end of week 1, we will have the actual demand as well. Then we can compute the error, which is 71 minus 78 is minus 7. CFA is cumulative forecast error. So that is, we are just starting out. So cumulative forecast error is minus 7. The absolute error is 7. And cumulative absolute error, again we are starting out, so it's 7. And now we have only one error in that sum. So our MAD is 7 over 1 equal to 7. Okay. Now tracking signal is a ratio between CFE and MAD. Okay, CFE and MAD. So that will be minus 7 over 7 equal to minus 1. Okay. So now we compute the forecast for the next time period. So let's say it's 75. Whatever method, and then at the end of week 2 we have the actual. So now the error is 80 minus 75 equal to 5. Then cumulative forecast error now is take the previous total and add the current one. So you get minus 2. Now absolute error is 5. this is another cumulative absolute error. So you take the previous cumulative value and add the current one. Now this time this has two errors in it, the first one and the second one. So the MAD now for week 2 is 6. So now tracking signal is minus 2 over 6 is minus 0.33. Now the third period, we start out with forecast and end of period 3. So now we have 101 minus 101. We have minus 2, 0 is minus 2. Okay, that's 0 plus 0. So now we have 3 errors in it. So 12 over 3 is 4, and then minus 2 over 4 is minus 0.5. So up to this point it's pretty good. It's close to 0. It's not too big.
Then week 4, 60 minus 88 equal to minus 28. Now minus 2 plus minus 28 will give you minus 30. This is 28. Then 12 plus 28 is 40. The number of errors now is 4. So MAD for week 4 is 40 over 4 equal to 10. When tracking signal is minus 30 over 10 equal to minus 3. If you have plus or minus 2 or even plus or minus 3, this would indicate that there is a problem with the forecasting. So intervention is then necessary.